Hello everybody, Sunday Adelaja here, and I want to welcome you to another program of my charge to Nigeria. The topic of today is how much really has been stolen from Nigeria in the past 50 years. So how much money do you think? Actually 60 years, it's 60 years now, not 50, 60 years. So how much money do you think has been stolen from Nigeria in the past 60 years? Well, it's staggering. It's a staggering amount of money. In the last 60 years, Nigeria has lost to unscrupulous individuals over 20 trillion US dollars. 20 trillion US dollars has been stolen from Nigeria's coffers by leaders or the so-called leaders who had assets or were trusted by were trusted with the resources of the nation between the year 1960 and 2020. So 20 trillion. Do you know what 20 trillion is? But before I begin to talk about what 20 trillion is, where did I get this information from? EFCC. In Nigeria, EFCC is one of the most respected organizations, and they have the best credibility in the country, or one of the best credibility in the country. And this was during the time of Rubadu, that this information came out. So that was back in 2005, 2015, and 2005 especially. And the person who said it is the chief of staff of EFCC himself. It used to be, I don't think he's the same person now, but he used to be called Dapo Olorunyomi, who used to be the chief of staff of EFCC. So this is an official information from one of the highest and most credible institutions in Nigeria, EFCC, that $20 trillion is the total amount of money that was stolen from Nigeria in the past. At that point, it was in the past 45 years, but right now in the past 60 years. But it was not on this, my information is not just coming from them. I got the confirmation of this information about that it is 20 trillion naira that have been stolen from Nigeria from one of our most credible newspapers, which is Vanguard. Vanguard is a leading newspaper in Nigeria, and from Vanguard of 25th of March 2015, they also confirmed the same information that yes, $20 trillion have been stolen from the country. But let's even leave Nigerian sources or sources as, let's leave them away from this. Let's leave them away from, leave them alone from this. There is an international organization that is called an International Federation of NGOs. So this organization works in 90 countries. They work to end poverty and to fight against injustice, and they also confirm the same information. The organization is called Oxfam. Oxfam is an international organized, like I say, confederation of NGOs. So Oxfam, if you want, you can look for that for that organization, Oxfam. In the words of their representative in Nigeria, or their coordinator, they actually said, yes, public office holders in Nigeria in the past, since independence, since 1960, from 1960, between 1960 to 2015, 2005, 2015, let's say in the last 60 years, have stolen over 20 trillion from Nigeria Treasury. That is horrific. Talking about 20 trillion. So what is 20 trillion? Remember that the Nigerian economy right now, presently, is just a bit less than 500 billion economy. So if our economy right now is less than 1 trillion, it's actually half a trillion, and the amount stolen was 20 trillion. You know what is 20 trillion? For your information, the whole European Union, that consists of 28 countries, only has a GDP of about 18 trillion economy. Let's say 20 trillion altogether, the whole of European Union. Let's say 18. At the point of the research, when the research was conducted, they were only having 17 trillion economy. And Japan is even less. So if the economy of the European Union is 16, 17 trillion, and 20 trillion was stolen from Nigeria. It means Nigeria alone. Africa is rich, guys. I know that if there's a country that is even richer than Nigeria, which is Congo, the DRC, Kinshasa, the resources they have is even much more than Nigeria. But in Nigeria's situation, it's not just we are not just talking about the resources and the potential. I'm talking about the ones that the money that was stolen, only the stolen ones alone. We are not talking about the resources and the potential right now. And if the stolen amount is 20 trillion and the whole European economy, 28 countries of European Union is 17 trillion, which means Nigeria alone, Nigeria's economy alone is stronger than all of Europe if we were to maximize our potential. So, but this is by the information of 2013, right? So GDP 2013 for Europe was 17 trillion. So why the European economy is in 2013 is 17 trillion, the Japanese economy is only about 5 trillion, or at that point, 2013 was only about 5 trillion. So if Japanese economy is 5 trillion and they are about like the 4th economy or 5th economy in the world, see where Nigeria is supposed to belong. Nigeria is supposed to be at the very top of the world's economy. So 5 trillion in Japan, and let's now go to America. So my friends, if the European Union, Nigeria economy is supposed to be bigger than the European Union, which is 17 trillion, before I go to America, definitely, Japanese economy is 5.7 trillion, and the amount that is stolen from Nigeria is 17 trillion. Now, let's now make the point for America, the biggest economy in the world. Can Nigeria's economy outgrow America's economy? Yes, definitely. If our people, our leaders had been judicious enough, had been conscientious enough not to have stolen all our resources, if we had been responsible for all the resources and the wealth that Nigeria has generated since independence, definitely we would have outgrown the American economy. Because at the point that research was done in 2005, 2013, between those years, the American economy was only 16, 17 trillion economy in 2013. So but now, of course, the American economy is just about, let's say, 20 trillion right now. Can you imagine the amount of money that was stolen from Nigeria, which is 20 trillion? It would have just been about the same size of American economy right now. It means that Nigeria and Africa in general, we are so wealthy that we would have become the economy engine of the whole world. And we still have the chance to become the future economic giant of the world if we could get it right. The only thing is for us to get it right. The most important thing for Nigerian government. So what do we need to do right now? And this is one of the reasons that I've supported Buhari over the years, because I know that he's a serious guy. He's a guy that wants to fight against corruption. And because of his campaign against corruption, that's why I said I would never support anybody that is not taking corruption as a serious threat and is not fighting corruption the #1 agenda in their campaign. Especially if they themselves are accused of being corrupt, I'm never going to support them. So because I'm criticizing Buhari's government, some people say, oh, are you now regretting supporting Buhari? No, I would never regret supporting Buhari, because what were the options? The options we had the first time was Jonathan. I would never, even if it's going to be 1,000 times, I would never choose Jonathan as a president over Buhari. Never, even 1,000 times. Because he was not in control. I met him twice, and he was not in control at all. He was much worse than Buhari, and people were stealing money anyhow under his supervision. Even his own wife had been convicted as a thief. So I would never choose Jonathan over Buhari. And what about the second time, this time that Buhari contested? What was the option we had? Atiku? For me to have chosen Atiku over Buhari? Are you joking? No. I'm not as I'm not as silly and as foolish and as ignorant as that. We didn't have any option out of the people who could win or who could have won the election. So, my choice, I'm conscientious and I'm conscious about my decision. And my decision was, is concrete. So no matter how bad Buhari's government is being, for me, it's still better than the options we had. So am I satisfied right now with the government of Buhari? No, I'm not satisfied. I'm not satisfied, and I think that Buhari needs to heighten his attack and his fight against corruption. We need the whole Nigeria, the whole Nigerian populace, the whole Nigerian government, the Senate, all of us need to begin to fight. And if the Buhari government and the Senate will not fight against corruption, then we, the citizens, need to arise and begin a comprehensive campaign against corruption. From the statistics I have presented above, it is easy to see that the Nigerian economy has the potential not just to overtake the European economy and the Japanese economy, but even to outgrow the largest economy in the world. Talking about the United States of America, only if we take the fight against corruption serious. Please think about this. The amount of money that has been stolen from Nigeria for instance, independence, is over $20 trillion, which is slightly, at the point that the research was done, it was slightly larger than the economy of America. Now it's about the same as this United States economy, which is the largest economy in the world. Now, let us imagine that Nigeria had been a corrupt-free nation, and that 20 trillion has not been stolen. We would have been the greatest nation and the greatest economy in the world. We would have repeated the feat of Singapore. And what did Singapore do? Singapore overtook America as an economy. I'm talking about in per capita though. In the per capita economy, Singapore has overtaken even America, coming from one of the worst and one of the poorest countries in the 60s. In the 60s, Singapore was one of the poorest countries in the world. And now they have not just gone to become the country with one of the highest standards of living in the world, they have overgrown America and overtaken America as a per capita economy. So we would have done the same thing. We would have also overtaken America in the economy, but instead of per capita, it would have been by GDP. Nigeria had the potential, if not because of our stolen wealth, to have overtaken America by GDP. It can still be repeated, because instead of Nigeria doing that, it was China that did that. It took America 200 years to build such an economy and such a country. But because of the endowment that we have, and the natural resources and the human resources that God has blessed us with, it would take, it would have taken Nigeria just 50 years to have built the same economy as America, $20 trillion economy. But this is still not impossible. Going by the example of China, because I remember in the 80s, in 1986, when I left Nigeria and I came to Europe, China and Nigeria's per capita were the same. Our per capita was $300 per capita, and China's economy was also $300. We were at par. But in 30 years, less than 50 years, just in 30 years, China has been able to build the largest economy in the world, because their economy right now is about to overtake the economy of America. So they have been able to do it. Nigeria would have done it, but we lost our chance because of our rogue leaders. One of the things that we have to do urgently right now, and I'm calling on the President, Muhammadu Buhari, is to tighten the fight against corruption. I think we should declare war against corruption, just like you did in the 80s. Someone like me, I'm a child of the 80s, and I'm still eagerly waiting for that Buhari that I knew from 84. So let's begin a comprehensive, a total campaign and fight against this evil that is called corruption. We can begin to put our resources. If we do that, we'll be able to begin to put our resources into building a modern and civilized nation, and even a continent. Know that, I want you to pay attention, everybody, that the $20 trillion that has been stolen is talking about the money that is from all sphere of economy. That is from the oil sector, from the agriculture, from finance, from natural resources, because there are some other statistics that says, okay, it is 200 billion that has been stolen from Nigeria, or it is this that has been stolen, 1 trillion, 2 trillion, but they are just talking about oil money. But now I'm talking about the totality, the total amount of money that has ever been stolen is 20 trillion. You know what? Another confirmation, apart from the international organization, there was another confirmation from the United Nations also about this amount, that 20 trillion has been stolen. But let me remind you what the former Prime Minister of Britain, Cameron, said. The former Prime Minister of Britain, Cameron, said if the amount of money stolen from Nigeria in the past 30 years, he was just talking about 30 years, not 60 years, if the amount of money that was stolen from Nigeria in the past 30 years was stolen from the UK, the UK would have ceased to exist, would have ceased to exist. So we are not even comparing ourselves to the UK. We are talking about the whole European Union or America. This is the potential our country has. And that's why I'm a committed Nigerian. And I'm going to keep on campaigning for one Nigeria. Not divided Nigeria, not restructured Nigeria, one Nigeria, federal Nigeria. We need not restructure right now, we need reconstructuring. If we could reconstruct our mind, reconstruct our nation, our values, we could become one of the greatest nations on the surface of the earth for the love of God, church and nation. Peace.